don't think I've ever seen an interior like that on one of these. Apparently you guys do Dodges now?
Yeah.
What did you do to this thing?
Upper pulley, injectors, nothing crazy.
I'm assuming he's just gonna like street tune it or something?
Yeah, I think we're gonna pull a drive shaft.
Okay.
On the Dyno jet.
Okay.
Some people are saying you can like pull a fuse or some shit, but probably just pull a drive shaft. Pretty simple on these.
And this is getting a dynoed as well. Might not be in this video, but maybe the next one. Now a little bit's changed since the last time we've been here. We've got Carson down here. He's the welder fabricator.
Let's get the car done by New Year's. Shout out ever to freaking Carson, man. Yeah. This man is a freaking little badass. The turbo kit got welded at was finished welding, I think 3 or 4 p.m. on Saturday.
He's the newest LMP employee, isn't he?
He is, yeah. You guys will get to see him soon, for sure.
He's in the zone. Couple V2s. Alex ZL1. And then today, this is what we're going to be dynoing today. A couple of the tanks they're working on and making. We'll talk about some of those a little bit later, show you some of the tanks. There's one in that ZL1. You'll see what kind of sets these apart from some of the other ones. One of the cool things they're doing is making everything in-house. No crazy weights. A lot more custom fit. We'll get this thing in action later. Let's go outside and see what we got. We got Bob's Mustang. Got a couple C7s. 5th gen.
So this thing just came from Georgia. I wanted to give a special shout out to this guy, James Mayo. He's a really cool guy. We just did a ZL1, full bolt-on car like that blue one we just did. His is blue actually too. We dropped that off, picked this up, and we're doing a bunch of work to this. But
hell yeah,
super cool dude, super patient, and I just wanted to give him a special shout out. Doesn't rush us for nothing, and gave us 2 30 packs of Michelob Ultra.
Hell yeah. Gotta love good customers.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
What's the plans with this, or can you discuss it all?
Yeah. Pretty much go over it. He has work done to it. Porting the blower. I think we're changing the pulleys. Just some minor stuff, really. He just wants it done right, and he just wants us to check it over and add a couple little things. But we just delivered a ZL1, and he called Jared. He's like, I don't know how you guys drive these things. This spins at like 90 mile an hour still. So I'm like, I guess it's faster than this, and it's got a cam in it. But
it's a clean car though.
Yeah. We only get you down here about once every 3 months now, so I gotta try to get everything.
Seriously. Yeah, people give me a hard time.
Nah, that's all right. You're good.
I got a full-time gig, guys. I got a baby now too.
Yep.
It's tough.
Yep. And you're not close to here.
I'm not. I'm like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
New banner here on the side of the building, which is massive. Apparently this was made for MIR, but it was too big. That's what she said. And now it's here. What did you guys do to this, Bob?
Sent the blower out for boarding, comb, and I think we did an upper pulley to it.
Okay.
I have to check the thing, I don't know. I took it apart like a week ago, and then did about 10 other things since then.
Fair enough. So nothing too crazy?
No, nothing too crazy. I think this thing already has a cam. Had some work done to it already.
Okay. So this is the twin turbo build you guys might have saw earlier that came in just for tuning and fixing stuff.
It came into it not running, it was smoking like a freight train, so we did a leak down on it. Number 7 or 8, I forget. Piston was torched, put pistons in it, and put our cam in it. And just a couple of odds and ends that, you know, it's got meth on it. We buttoned up a couple of things with the turbo kit that wasn't very clean before. It's got a stock trans in it still. I think this motor was like 10 years old before. He had a lot of miles on it. I didn't tune it before though, and someone else down south did it.
Pretty damn good.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about the stock 6L80. It's going to be questionable for sure. I already told him he's definitely on borrowed time.
What did you guys do?
just did a 9-inch conversion on it, axles, and then it got a 6L80 with a trans brake radiator, aluminum radiator. Just kind of going over a couple things. Pretty sure it was like the stock original trans, so it's kind of lucky it made it that far. It ran pretty well for what it was, and then I guess he figured while he does that, the next thing was the rear end, so he just did a 9-inch. I don't know how long these 6Ls are gonna last with a trans brake. He doesn't, I don't think he drives it hard. You know, some people go out and they leave here and their foot's to the floor, you know, 80% of the time. Other guys, I think like him, cruise around and they'll take it to the track, and that's the only time they beat on it. So I like GXPs, they're cool.
It's clean too.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it sounds back there too. It doesn't sound extreme, you know. Like a Heads Cam G8 sounds crazier than this. This thing just is super subtle.
That's about
especially with the stock mufflers on it.
Oh yeah.
Muffler deletes on it. Sounds good, but it still doesn't sound like ridiculous.
No, it's still very mild.
Lay into it. I think it made it just over 900.
And I'm guessing you guys aren't pushing it up anymore.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, he did say something about upgrading the turbos. They're like old, small, like T3 boards. There's not much to them. But I mean, they're twins. Like, twins make good power pretty easily. I think just between the trans and the rear, he was like, I'll take it from there.
Probably just wants to go faster, more reliably.
Oh yeah, probably wasn't running what it could. Now with a trans brake, he can actually leave hard as well.
These are little baby turbos. Just for reference. It's the size of my fist. How's the Mustang?
It's good.
Yeah?
Been pretty much issue free.
Please knock on some wood. There you go, thank you.
I've been to Texas, PA, Ohio. I was in Ohio last weekend for my birthday to KD Dragway. It's like super sketchy, but like super fun track. And at the end, right after the 8th mile, like shoots up, like super steep to slow you down. And they had just like a no prep cash days there.
Nice.
And they actually had a few different classes, and I got in 2 classes. I fit the street class rules as well. I went there to go run small tire, so they came over and looked at it. One of them was like, why don't you hop in street class? So I did that, and I won street class.
Hell yeah.
I kind of felt bad because it was like, mine is like right on the edge of all the rules. I mean, it has full interior, it has, you know, dash, door panels, power windows, carpet, 2 seats, like all of that stuff is there.
Headlights, brake lights.
Yeah, exactly. It has everything. Full size front radiator, like I could drive it around.
You don't even have any Lexan, do you?
No, the only thing it has is a fiberglass hood, which is like, you know, half the cars that race anyways.
Yeah.
And it has a fiberglass trunk lid. Some classes say you can't have that, but I hate it. It's a pain in the ass to take off. I'd rather put a stock lid back on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I won that. There was only like 7 cars in it. And actually, the last one I was supposed to race in the finals, he broke, which kind of sucked.
Yeah, because you want to race.
Yeah, exactly. So I got the money I gave him his buy-in back because he's like, you know, I like doing that. I'd like somebody to do that for me too. You know, small tire went to the semifinals, and there was like a group of us that we'd all raced together before. It was 7 or 8 of us. I think there was 18 cars in the field. I'm pretty sure first and second round, none of us drew each other. It was awesome because that's like the worst thing, to drive 6-7 hours away or further, you know, and race your buddy.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting knocked out in the semifinals by a guy I raced on the street before, and I beat him that time. He's got a nice Nova, it's quick. So, and it was a good race too, that's the best part. It was like, you know, it wasn't like one of us spun or something. We got down. That was fun, so.
Sweet. Yeah,
I'll get that.
whenever you got it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bob.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Sweet.
So what is the deal? What's the setup on this thing?
It is a heads cam stock ported blower export.
pretty much the same everything, you know, as usual, but we changed the heads on this one to the LMP aftermarket casting head, and it takes a special exhaust flange, which takes a special header. We're gonna try them out. I've done a lot of homework on them, and you know, we're trying to squeeze everything we can out of these stock blowers. A lot of people say cylinder heads don't matter and stuff like that, but they matter. I think that they'll gain a little bit of power, you know. Typically we want 930, 940. I think it wouldn't surprise me if we made 970, 980, somewhere in there.
That'd be sick.
And this isn't like no off the wall stuff either, you know, it's a full exhaust stock axle back still. So, you know, if it makes that much with all that, then I think if, you know, you put it into a race car trim kind of with dumps and stuff, it would make even more. He wants to race it. He wants to go 899 with a stock blower and like with all the interior. And I'm like, well, you need to make a little bit more power than your typical 900. So we saw what we did to mine to get it to do what it did. This guy's from Georgia, and I think he wanted me to race it before we shipped it back down to him, but we're still waiting on wheels and axles. And this thing, we had like a 3-month backlog when he booked the deposit, and that's when we ordered the stuff, and here it is like 4 months later and it's still not here.
Yeah,
so it's like, yeah, I can't do nothing without wheels or nothing, so
and
I don't know.
97 degrees outside too.
That's another thing. Ain't gonna go 8s right now, but
yeah.
You know, I think he just wanted to make sure it was good, and, which I have a hub dyno for that, so we can get it pretty dialed in without even going to the track. I changed the cam a little bit on this just because I had a little different with the exhaust port. You gotta line the cam up to the heads and the combinations, so you can't just slam the same cam and everything. It's still like a stock rocker deal, you know, Johnson lifters, 2-inch headers, Kong export, 945 lower, 23 upper, R lid, R fuel system, 30% over injectors. Oh, our ice box.
Oh yeah, let's.
And our heat exchanger.
Sick.
So you haven't been here in a while.
No.
And
a lot has
changed. So like what, since March? And like we have really, I hired someone else.
Yep.
I've actually hired 2 people, but I hired a full-time welder. To be honest, man, like we're doing a lot of stuff ourselves now because I'm tired of waiting on everything, you know. Not that other people aren't good, but I'm just tired of relying on other people. And if you have a problem, then we can tear a transmission out and do it right there, you know, instead of sending it out, having it done, getting it back, playing the bling game. It's just a headache. So,
Yep.
You know, we took matters into our own hands with transmissions. Only 8L90s and 10L90 stuff at the moment. And we will only do transmission rebuilds in-house. So I mean, you bring your car here, I tune it, we do the transmission job itself, because the problem is I feel like a lot of this, when you start sending parts to people and having them do transmissions, for example, they can do a transmission, send it back to you, the shop, or someone might not clean out the lines, not put a new converter in and not clean the converter, whatever it might be. Then you have a bad transmission again.
Guess who gets blamed?
Exactly. I'm not getting even involved in any of that. So everything's in-house that we do. So that goes the same with making parts. We make our own heat exchangers now for the ZL1 and CTSV, the 3rd gen CTSV. They're the same heat exchanger. So they bolt up, no modifications. Just take the bumper off, take the old one off, put the new one on. No cutting. This one has it on it. Ice box on the trunk of this we made in-house. So
yeah, I previewed Carson, but he's in the zone, so I didn't want to mess with him.
But he's cooking right now. What he did this, and the cool thing about this is you got your factory mounting location, so you don't have to cut nothing really. The only thing you got to do is up here on the top side is put a nutsert in there and put obviously a bolt in there, and that's pretty much it. There's no cutting. So you get this guy, and there's a sump down below that drops down. I want to say he drops it down like 4 inches, and it comes down. I'll show you outside of the car. We have another one that's not powder coated, but it comes down and over for the feed to the pump in the little cubby over there. So we have a pump that's external, and then it feeds and comes back around. But I want to say it took like 9 gallons between the tank and the heat exchanger and all the lines throughout the whole car. We're gonna make them ourselves. This was our first one for this car. It's working out really well. We ran the car. I did a little bit of tuning on pump gas, and I just dumped a little bit of E in it. I don't think I mentioned this, but the tank actually sits off of the trunk, so it doesn't even sit down on the floor at all. It's like hovers over the floor.
Okay.
Here, I'll get So like you can still use this thing and put stuff in there and slide it underneath the tank. It doesn't go in the cubby. It doesn't like, it's not bulky. A lot of these guys obviously want to make 1,000 horsepower and still drive the car around and still put chairs in the trunk or whatever it might be.
955.
That's a good one. I was thinking I hope I make 960 something, because I've made 950s in like 30 degrees of weather.
Yeah.
In this weather, we don't make 950. We make like 920.
It's literally 93 degrees right now.
Yeah, and it's muggy in here, so.
Good start for 2/3 of a pull. Okay. Still only to 6,600 too.
Yeah, it's still pulling. There's only like 21 degrees of timing. These things usually like a little bit more than that, so. Like I said, I already did a little bit on pump. I didn't really beat it on pump because it was picking up some knock, and I'm like, I'll just dump some E in it. We're at 53 right now, so. You know, it's pretty good so far. Bump the limiter up a little bit. God dang.
74.
Pretty up there.
Yeah.
Probably stop it.
Yeah.
It's still making power.
It is. In this heat, man, I'm nice cool day to sit up on make 965.
Easy.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like I just checked the air not long ago. It's like 3,300 feet. So.
What boosted?
Rated 16, 17.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a ton.
And if this is your first time watching, torque is not quite correct. It's probably 100 more than that at least. It's the way these hub dynos read, it just always reads pretty low torque. It's a 7.
Yeah, it's close.
It's hot.
Hot as fuck.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
That was no ice. I didn't have any ice, so I think he's still climbing at 7,000.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Probably would have done 955.
I was like racing the RPM, like, oh fuck, it's getting up there.
It's alright.